This sale preview is brought to you by BreedUp. BreedUp is a revolutionary new software that seamlessly tracks all of your most important advanced repro events, including time of heat, protocol management, breeding times, mating performance, and so much more. If you are using ET, IVF, or even AI in your herd, it is more important than ever to know what creates more pregnancies, and BreedUp's on-demand data and analytics deliver just that. BreedUp is mobile friendly and is compatible with your smartphone, tablet, or desktop computer. Sign up for Breeding Intelligence at breed-up.com and check out many of its features at youtube.com/at breed-up. Brent, on behalf of the audience and all the prospective buyers and people that are interested in your program, thanks for joining us this morning. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to walk us through your program and walk us through the sale you got coming up on March 28th. SC Online Sales, the Cromwell Cattle Company online steer sale. It's your annual big event. Welcome to the program.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. I got to ask before we even get into this, and I'm going to ambush you with this question. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this. Horn calls everyone Bush. You call everyone Bull. But I've recently been informed by you after like 3 or 4 years of calling you this and you calling everyone this, including your son, that it's not bull. I've been saying bull and spelling it bull. We're buddies. You've never corrected me. So tell the people what we really logged in here to understand today. What is the origin of this?
It's
How do
bull.
we spell it? And what is it?
It's bull, and I don't know even how to spell it. My grandpa always called myself and our cousins Bull, and I started calling Hudson Bull after a Christmas or a Thanksgiving that we had, and Michaela just drove her up the wall, and then Hudson, being a mini me, would snap back and go Bull, and so we just started doing it, and now everybody's just Bull. I still would throw Bush around every once in a while, but the homies, if you get a Bull, you're a homie. Come on, Bull. So yeah,
I feel a
we
little
live in a
better.
town with 200 people. We're a little country. It's all right.
Honestly, I thought it was just a Texas way or Cajun sounding way of saying bull this whole time. So I'm glad we cleared up that nobody understands how to spell.
Well, I think you can definitely cross state lines. I really feel like the Cajuns definitely use it as well. So yeah, I don't know how to spell it. I was informed that if I were to spell it, I would spell it wrong. So we're not even gonna attempt to spell it. We're just gonna say it. Come on, Bull.
Got it. So now that we got the most important stuff out of the way, let's dive into your operation. You're pretty prominent there in Texas, in Central Texas, been raising some really good Americans, but also a lot of exotics, had a lot of success the last couple of years. Just give us a brief kind of history of your operation, who's involved, and kind of what you guys got cooking there in Abbott.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Michaela and the two kids, Hudson and Blair, myself, we live in Abbott. And my dad lived in Giddings, about 2.5 hours south of Abbott. And then also part of our program would be the Ivy family that live about 2 hours west of us. And so we predominantly raise Americans, as you can tell from the sale, if you already scrolled through and hadn't listened. That's my passion. That's what has, I believe, the Ivy's passion, and my dad's passion. We tinker around with exotics and crossbreds. Whenever I realized that we didn't have enough land or recips, I realized that we needed to focus on one or the other. Plain and simple, Americans get up and nurse, exotics find a tree and try to lay down and not live. Although we do have to shear them and do all the things when they're born to keep them alive in the summertime, they still have more vigor. They have more just want to survive where we live. So that's why we raise Americans. I love Americans, and I'm not talking trash on any of the crossbreds, but I think that our crossbreds are so wound up genetically and structurally that the Americans are more predictable, more consistent, and I feel like they're better doing cattle right now. And that's because it's backed by years of maternal genetics through our cow herd. And yeah, we're starting to play with the TH, PHA, and DS and kind of get them a little bit more juked up, as you could say, in terms of bone and hair, but we're still keeping that maternal base in mind for replacements and what we're keeping. So, yeah, so my dad has all the AI cows down there. We have all the donors in Abbott, and up until about a couple months ago, we calved out half the ET calves there in Abbott, and then we've got quite a few calf wean programs in Oklahoma that raise some. We'll talk about that as we go through the sale. The Ivies raise another slug of the embryo calves that we'll talk about. And then now this year, it's the second year he's brought calves to us, but it's the first year we put them in the sale since his daughter and both kids are done showing as Dalton Nix. He's a big part of this sale. He obviously has raised the main two donors that we have that supply, I believe, 24/5 of this sale for us. And so Dalton is a big influence in our program. Always liked his cattle and the way that they're built and his outside the box thinking when it comes to genetics. So yeah, that's our program. Raise Americans. We got a lot of people involved, a lot of that are real good at what they do, and we work as a team and we try to succeed.
I think what's interesting about what you said there is you got a good size sale. There's 50 head here. It's not like you went and rounded up a bunch of random stock. Maybe not every one of them was born in the acreage surrounding your barn and your place there, but they've come from a predictable group of people where the cow herd, what the genetics are, how they operate. And I think there's like a level of durability and sustainability there and confidence, I think, for the customers. I know we try to do something very similar out here. I don't raise every one of them, but I'm not like rounding them up from all over the countryside and places that you've never heard of or little one-off type deals. And I respect that about what you got going on there. Also, I just want to point out the comment you made about the predictability and like the mothering ability of the Americans. That's something I hadn't previously considered. I'd almost have to imagine that part of the reason that you guys as American breeders aren't dealing with maybe some of the same issues as those of us that raise straight up club calves is you have to keep some of that American influence and character in them to classify. Therefore, you have like some level of built-in maternal brangus or something back there that isn't like 100% zoo bred. I mean, there's no governor on the 100% exotic front right now. It's just bone, hair, and all the extras.
For sure. So I would tell you that this year is probably not necessarily my dream, but as a kid growing up, raising calves, showing calves, I always wanted to have my own live auction. Like, just give you an example, Schrader's there in Taylor. That was the event as a kid growing up. That was the main American event. We got 50 head in this sale. We're going to have another 25 of the best All Americans that they'll be quartered off and people can view them at the same time. And quite frankly, if the Texas weather was better and we had a shot more held, this sale could have been 75 head and been 69 head of Americans and done it all at once. And maybe we'll get to that as we get into Hudson showing, and we're going to be gearing up for Austin and Houston during this time next year. I don't know how I'm going to approach that. That may be something that we do. I do know that I love SC. I love Clint, who's our online rep. I love his platform. And so I did as much as I could with the time I had to make this sale when I had it. And so to go back to what we talk about not rounding them up, yes, we have a lot of calves this year, and this has been a 5-year plan more so than anything. When COVID hit, we put in more embryos than we ever put in, and it was very nerve-wracking for us because I didn't know what the future would entail, didn't know what the market was going to be, and we're sitting here throwing all this money, all this time, and all these embryos and recips, and we're finally see it come to fruition right now, where we have our biggest, deepest set, numerous options for people, and like you said, they are from our cows or they're from our partners' cows, and we know those cows. And heck, half those partnership cows they bought from us. they came out of our heifer cells. And so I feel very confident in the ability of these cattle to go out and perform and do what we expect them to. Or on the flip side, in the back of my head, I know, and that could come out in this calf. And so we've got to be prepared as a feeder and as a buyer to know, like, hey, talk to Brent. What does he think about that one? And what do you see in the future? Hey, if this doesn't go right, this is what could happen with that calf because he's seen it happen before. Or if it comes together, watch out.
Tell us a little bit about some of the successes you've had a couple years ago. When you said during COVID you slugged in a bunch of embryos and really ramped this up. There's been a lot of action and a lot of things happen. I think in your program as your friend, right? And full disclosure, we are very good buddies. That I did not think was possible in terms of American show steers getting pieces of major steer shows. I didn't have that on my bingo card. You and some of your feeders and families and customers accomplished those things multiple times. There's a lot of, I think, gravity when you say this is the deepest set that you've had, considering where you've been and what you've accomplished and what your team's accomplished the last couple of years. Just kind of walk us through what some of those things have been, familiarize the audience with what you've done here the last couple of years.
Yeah, so obviously everyone knows about the Fort Worth Grand overall. We bought that calf from Horn and sold him to the Kep family. Rory Delm raised that steer. There's a lot of people that are involved that raised the mother, that they want their credit and sold the mother and whatnot. But that steer won, and the year before they were reserve grand with another steer that Reed Vessel and Brady Black raised that sold an Embryo sale. And so we found those, and those were to me what we were chasing. But if we back up and we talk about like our first ET groups of some of these donors, that was those years. And the Kep family had Reserve American at Congress with one I thought was absolutely incredible. Didn't move quite right that day. We got it fixed before it mattered, and he ended up being second behind the champion at San Antonio. But what I get with this is I feel very confident in that if that steer that Kep showed at San Antonio would have went to Fort Worth, which was the year they had the red steer, that steer still would have won the Americans. That's how good he was in the hair. And then that same year, obviously, Chickadances got a calf from Kirby. Kirby bought the Brangus that was reserve grand at Houston. That's one that we raised out of the same cow, different bull. That was our first ET calf crop out of that cow. We only had two calves, and those are the two calves. And then the next year, we had quite a few more that went on and were very successful throughout the summer. Pretty much won everything for the Campbell family. A calf we called Sox. Had some bad luck out there at the end with the showman and the calf, but it just didn't work out. But that calf was so much fun and was awesome. And then,
And just to interrupt you, those were all Mindes, right? Like, and there's a bunch of those on the sale. And we'll talk about
those are all Mindes.
Okay.
And then we go through and we slug away and get quite a few breeds and be very fortunate to win some banners at San Antonio, Houston the past few years. And those were all out of cows that we raised, that Dad raised there in Giddings. And then, like this year, we win Dixie with the In God We Trust out of a Killshot daughter. Killshot's our bull. The cow is there at Dad's, and as an embryo calf that we raised here at the house in Abbott.
Well, we just talked about the Mindes, and you got quite a few of these Mindes on the sale. Do you want to talk about some of these matings that you have? You kind of alluded to some of the success that there's been out of these cows, specifically Minde. And as someone that's seen her in person, she is quite impressive as some of these other donors. Tell us about some of these kind of mating groups. Looks like we got 3 different matings out of Minde, In God, Standout, King of Kings. Just tell us a little bit about Minde, what she's done and what she's meant to your program. And then we can kind of talk about some of these other cows as well.
Yeah, so Mindy's a black cow John and I bought from Dalton Nix as a young heifer calf. The Hubbard family showed her. She won pretty much everything she went to. Never beaten in the Americans, and then she won quite a few overalls here in Texas. But We're offering 3 matings, King of Kings. It's a new mating. We'll dive into Standout, which would be Sib to Chicken Dances Reserve Grand Overall. And then In God We Trust, like we just talked about. The Cat family had that very first year. We have not had any In God We Trust show out of that since that calf until next week in Houston that the Cat family will have. Really like that calf. He's fed out incredible. These In God We Trust are older, and we did that because I wanted more options. I wanted to be able, if they came out here, we could take them to Fort Worth. If not, and they got catch her sided and they grow and they perform, they could go to Dallas. If they're slow growing, they're chunky, they could go to San Antonio, Houston. We've got two of those on here. One of them is a Dallas calf. He is perfect structured and awesome. We'll get into him. The other one is a San Antonio size steer. But that mating's been awesome for us, both steers and females. We've sold numerous high-selling females. We do have one heifer that's a donor prospect that we're offering half of that probably shouldn't. We'll dive into that here in a little bit. The standouts are fun. They look very good. The cattle out of this mating have been really, really good from a look and balance standpoint. They have plenty of power. Obviously, that steer that was over at Houston was incredibly good looking. There's a brother to him that I think mirrors that quite well. There's another one that probably looks a little bit more like Standout in terms of power and chunkiness. We'll dive into those. The King of Kings, this is probably the mating I'm most excited about for numerous different reasons. I did not want to flush this cow this way. I thought John was crazy. I thought there was no way this would work. And, when you have a partner and you respect them, you let them have a say so as well. So we just went ahead and did it. And it was the best thing we ever did because I feel like we made her click better than we have in God or Standout or even any other bull we've used. And that's because through the 10 flush mates, they're all consistent. They're all so good structured. They're all big bodied. They all have power. Some are better looking. Some are leveler. But just basic fundamentals of good cattle that you don't haul off because they have issues. They are sound. They're powerful. They have muscle. They have body, and they're balanced. We'll dive into these two here in a little bit. But the reason why I am so happy and pumped up about these is because there are 6 daughters in the back 40 that we're keeping all of them because we don't know which one is better. And they look like the kind that when in 5 years from now, you're going to drive out on the gator and hopefully it's not a drought and you see these 6 smoky females and go, what is that? What is that? What is that? And then we top it off. We kept a triple clean bull prospect. We haven't ever kept the clean bull out of Minde. There's a triple clean bull that we kept that's absolutely awesome. And then last but not least, just let the cat out of the bag. I'm not going to hide it from anybody. Hudson is going to show the 3rd brother that is cut at Dallas as a lightweight division. On the cow, he was tall, lanky, and skinny, and I didn't think anybody would trust me and buy him. I didn't think anybody would want to buy him. We weaned him off early. The calf is performing and putting on weight and doing the right things. So that makes me feel very comfortable about the 2 steers that we're offering that, simply put, are way better than him. So those are the 3 matings out of Minde. Next up, the next cow we have is 30. 30 is Minde's sister. She is triple dirty. She is 4 inches smaller, 4 inches wider, and we've been flushing her numerous different ways. She makes up 15 head of the cell. And I go back, Minde has 7 head in the cell. 30 makes up 15. So just between those 2 cows, we've got 21 head out of the 50. We've got Ain't Bluffins. Those have been absolutely awesome to look at. Their structure is incredible. Their feet quality are incredible. Body, the practicality, the balance is there. Some are hairier, some are stouter, some are better looking. That's just club calving and mating, how those come out. But consistently, kind of like the King of Kings Minde, that mating has been absolutely awesome. My only regret on those is the fact that I did not put maybe 5 or 10 of those back in last year. I should have put in about 30 to get what we have this year. Next up would be King of King 30s. Those are this would be year 2 of that mating. The King of Kings out of that cow are very practical, very smooth. The three in this cell are all three very different. There is one absolute gangster, Fort Worth one that's smoky, the right color, all the things. There is one that is skinny and needs somebody to trust him, but I think that calf builds absolutely unreal. And there's a slick one that is awesome. The cool thing about this is we sold a heifer last year. She went undefeated in South Texas. We sold an American Nation. The bull that we kept and we sold half of to the Day family, we call him Compadre. He's out there covering their cows and looks incredible. Perfect structure, body, build, the things that we just talked about this mating does. So consistency, we've had 2 years of this. They are doing the right things. Next up, out of 30, would be the Amazing Graces. Only one of those in this cell. He does have a hernia. We'll dive into that as well. But of this particular cow, this is probably my favorite mating because when the Amazing Graces are good, you are not going to beat them. And this mating has worked really well on 30. They are all really good looking, have the right kind of slick, sheer shape and power, proportions, balance, and structure. Probably not the hairy ones out of this mating, as you'd expect, but slick sheer wise, I like this mating. I like the way I think they're going to be my favorites in terms of the way they feed. Last but not least, Water to Wine 30. And this is going to give a shout out to Thick Pen. We were brainstorming, trying to figure out what clean bulls to use. And he sent me a video of this bull at Horns of the Wash Rack. I went, well, let's do it. And I don't know if I've ever raised a better haired American. He's one of the better haired Americans in this cell. Then that's out of this mating. We sold a heifer that's incredible for half interest in the American Nation that honestly probably got overshadowed by our paint heifer. If we'd have sheared her off and had her by herself, it could have been a different story. And then there's two flush mate brothers that were raised in South Texas that all these cattle are sound, practical, have body. They're very good looking. Some are more powerful, some are good looking, but just very consistent. Next up, we've got the 2220. 2220 is a cobbler back out of Kendall Long's 741 donor. This is a red blaze face cow that is probably the best looking cow in the place. And we flushed her to CM this past year. We're offering two bull prospects and two steers. One steer I think is for sure a banner contender at Houston next year. The bulls are incredible. We'll dive into those later on. And then next we've got H82 will be Dalton Nix's donor. Dalton's daughter has won 2 classes back-to-back years at Fort Worth out of this cow in this mating. And then not to mention she was 4th or 5th this past year. So she went 3 for 3 out of this mating at Fort Worth. Kind of a hard steer show. Kind of pretty impressive to be that consistent. These cattle are some of my favorites in the sale. Very, very good. So those are some highlights. Yeah, we have some other big time pedigrees, maybe some embryo purchases or some friends that gave us some embryos, whatever it may be, that we'll talk about when we break the cattle down. But those are the matings that we pretty much surrounded this cell around.
Tell us a little bit about these couple different sire groups. You have Genesis, which I believe is a Minde son. And then tell us about CM.
Yeah.
And because you had some CMs that looked really good in last year's sale too.
Yeah, so CM's is John Ivy's bull. That's a BDR son back out of a Rapid Rewards Gert cow that, like we talked about early on, some of these guys bought heifers from us. John bought this heifer from us back in 2016. We had about like a 5-head heifer sale. John sacked her up and raised CM out of her, raised an impressive Gert calf that's going to Houston next week. Knock on wood, it all goes right. But CM is consistently at making them awesome looking, slick shear type cattle. Their back shapes are unreal. We flushed him quite a bit. Ivy obviously used him and flushed him. Dalton Nix flushed to him. Dad bred to him down in South Texas. And then I think those cattle are awesome. His rookie calf crop was last year. I think he had 4 head show. He had 3 show at Houston. One was 4th, one was 5th. The other one was champion ABC. And then the other one that showed would have gone to San Antonio, and he was reserve bracket. Such his rookie calf crop. And the next crop is this year shown, and numerous have made the sale and done very well. Genesis, there's two black cows we're going to dive into when we get into the cattle. A Genesis is an In God We Trust Minde that was raised on a Jersey in our front pasture because the mother tried to starve him. But calf was always awesome, always had the look at me type of a look. And we flushed numerous cows to him, had some bad luck on conception rates, but we did get two out of this purebred Brangus donor of Dad's, and I am beyond pumped up. They're different, but they're both very high quality. They're both high time, good looking, arrogant, both very good structure, both have body, both have muscle, kind of something that you want when you're selling show steers.
Heck yeah. Let's talk about service that you may or may not provide. And I think this is a two-part question. What can the bidders, buyers, and customers expect from you? And then this is obviously your boy's first year showing. You weren't shy about that. You mentioned that a few minutes ago. I would anticipate that's going to take up a piece of your time and some of your focus. Obviously different than before because he didn't show before, not at least not show steers in the state of Texas. How are you navigating that with your customers? What should they expect in terms of service and time commitment from you, if anything? And how are you, navigating that kind of whole dynamic of, you obviously want your kid to have a good experience and have quality livestock to show and get your attention as a father, but also have some level of responsibility, I guess, maybe to your customers. How are you looking at that right now?
Okay, so we'll address the first question, servicing. What can people expect? What will I provide? I have a really good friend, one of my best friends here, and he told me a long time ago, the best thing I can ever tell you is match effort. When someone new buys an animal from me, we load them out, we close the gate, and I tell them, hey, look, I'm very busy. I get 1,000 phone calls every day. Probably had 10 since we were sitting here doing this. But I will put as much effort into this as you put into it. If you send me videos, if you drive up, if you keep me included, then I'm going to be there. If you contact me the last 2.5 weeks before you're headed to Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, or your county fair, and you need me to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I will try to answer your questions respectfully and try to answer them the right way to help you. But there's not much I can do when you have a year-long project and you come at me the last 2.5 weeks. So I match effort. Service-wise, I will help feed, manage your implant game, all those things by appointment only at the house in Abbott. And I say that because it's really hard for me to tell you what to do through a video. I send you videos all the time, Ferris, and you like, what is this? I'm like, he looks awesome. You can't tell. You're not there. You're not seeing it in person. So
That could
I
just
really,
be me. I don't know.
yeah, you are grumpy. The only person grumpier than me is you. I really try to get everybody to come to the house in Abbott. Yes, I understand I could be a prima donna about stuff like that, but I can't cover the entire state of Texas like I used to. But quite frankly, that's not fair to my family. So I ask everybody to come to the house, schedule a day. I will make time for you. You could be there for 10 minutes. You could be there for 4 hours. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but I will help you with your project, with feed management, what we need to do. I don't trim feet. I've never bought a trimming table because I don't want to trim feet, to be honest with you. There are a lot more talented guys out there that can do that, and I will point you in the right direction. Clipping wise, we are not a clipping or a hair care service. That's not my passion. 19-year-old Brent wanted to fit every calf in the country. 35-year-old Brent realizes he's very average and does not want to clip any calf in the country. So I say that with a grain of salt. I will try to point you in the right direction, but we are not a clipping or a hair care service. And I'll do everything I can, but that's just not what I'm going to provide. And so if that hinders you from wanting to bid, I get it. No problem. I respect it. You want someone to do that for you. I will also point you in the right direction. I got a really good buddy in Stephenville that is the absolute very best clipper that I know. in this area, if not one of in the nation. And so he'll sell you a calf, he'll clip it for you. Those are the services I'm going to provide. I know our cows. I like to raise calves. I like to watch them grow. I like to watch them perform. I want to be there to help you feed them, manage them, be at the show, and root you on and do all those things. I don't want to flip your calf. I'm not very good at it. Go find someone better. In terms of Hudson, the second question, I will tell you that I've had so many different ideas over the past 2 years of what we're going to do for his first year. And now we're here and it's real. Like we talked about, I do have a lightweight American at Dallas, the King of Kings, Minde. He is a nice calf. We'll see what happens. It's just getting him in the ring. As far as navigating, not showing against customers, what we're going to do, I do not want to show against customers. I want to try to spread it out. It's very challenging to do so, but it can be done. We are going to show some crossbreds, and we're going to show probably a little American that was raised at my dad's on the jersey. But past that, I don't want to compete against our customers. I don't think it's fair. I think we have a lot of really loyal, good customers that have been with us through the good and the bad, from us growing pains to being successful, all the things. And I don't think it's fair for me to not allow them a chance to buy some of these better ones because I'm selfish and I want to keep it for my kid who has 10 years left, and they may have one or they may have two. So I do have other kids in mind that I want to make sure they're taken care of, and that can be anybody. And so that's why we have a sale and anyone can bid. And I'm going to be upfront with anybody that asks me. I'll show you the calf if you want to come look at him in the pen. I'm not going to hide him from you. There's no secrets here, but we are going to try to stay out of the American as much as we can. But let's not get it twisted. These are my passion, and I do want my kid to show something that we raise, whether it's Dad or John or ourselves. And so that's why we're going to show an American at Dallas, and that's why we're probably going to show the little calf that was raised on the jersey. Plus, Hudson weighs 50 pounds, and showing a little American that was raised on the jersey sounds pretty fun to me right now. So yeah, those are the two expectations you can find through service and through what we're going to do our first year.
A couple other just little housekeeping items before we dig into the cattle. Talk us through the open house visitation schedule. I see here on your SC page, there's some discussion about that. Talk us through kind of what's best for you guys in terms of coming and looking at the cattle in person.
Yeah, so that was the main thing. Come look at them in person. I will be upfront with everybody about what the cattle are over the phone as I can be. But at the end of the day, if you're going to invest into a year-long project, you probably need to get into your truck and come look at them in person. We will allow open houses March 12th through the 14th while people are passing through to go to Austin and Houston. We will close up shop the 15th through the 20th. We will be at Houston Stock Show supporting our families and getting away for a little bit and clipping the next set for the best of the best. So y'all can see all them clipped out as well. And so you can have an idea if you want to buy one now or wait, whatever you want to do. March 21st, I will not be in town, but the Ivy family and Michaela will be around. Please contact them to view. I thought I was going to close the gates and not let anybody come, but I also understand that may be the only opportunity that the guys from West Texas will get to look at the cattle as they pass through from Houston going back home. So I'm trying to cater to everybody to make that work. And then obviously March 23rd through 28th is the week of the sale. Come on whenever you want to. We'll make it work. They'll be kicked out, won't be cleaned up, but you can look at them in their working clothes. A lot of people come and look at Brent Embrys who live 20, 30 minutes from us and then look at ours at the same time. And that's why we try to cater for both sales to make it work. Sale day schedule. We will be up early, getting the cattle cleaned up. It says here 2 to 4 p.m. the cattle will be tied up. I still would like to do that. Hudson is playing baseball that day, and so we may be out of pocket. And so if I can find the right crew to make that work, yeah, we'll tie them up. If not, the cattle will be there to look at all day, and I'll be there as soon as I can after the baseball game. More importantly, the Crawfish Bowl starts at 4 o'clock. And it is incredible. It is awesome. Sale will start at 5, 6 p.m. The extended bidding will start. 7 p.m. The final call will come on, and we will get it rolling and be done fast. I do not like sales that last till 11 o'clock. I do not stay up past 8:30 anymore, 9 o'clock at the latest. And we are not going to have a midnight sale. There is nothing more miserable than staying up till 1 o'clock to bid on an animal and not getting bought. So if you don't get an animal bought, we're going to find out about 7:30 instead. So that's our sale day schedule. From there, we'll have a truck going to Giddings the next day. And if you live in South Texas and you don't bring a trailer, we'll get them shipped to Dad, and you can pick them up there at Dad's. The 3 hernias I do want to mention. There are 3 calves that have hernias. That does not scare me at all. I just fixed one for Hudson. It's a very easy in and out process at the vet that we use. We drop them off, they get fixed, they stay there for 10 days. We pick them up, and nothing ever happened. It's all good. So we will guarantee those hernias that those cattle will be healed and they will be good to go when you pick them up. You will not have to do anything besides take your calf home and feed them after that.
Excellent. Let's dig into these cattle here, and we're going to go lot by lot and just give us your thoughts. Tell us a little bit about the cattle, whatever you think the people need to know. You start off the sale, lot 1, with a pedigree that's as hot as anything out there right now. Full sib to greater good embryo that come from RJ. Tell us about lot 1.
So I'm probably as big of a fan of this cow as probably more than RJ if I had to guess, and Horn. A little bit of sentimental value. This cow would have raised Mickey Mouse, that ended up being Campbell's Reserve crossbred at Fort Worth. But Hudson got to show that calf, and they were really good friends. And so I have been participating in trying to buy cattle out of this cow and or embryos out of this cow every chance I've had. It's pretty cool to see what she did there and see how she has had a lot of success over the past 3 or 4 years for Horn and RJ. You know, it says there, I forgot about Greater Good. That was the most incredible animal I saw on my trip that year. That bull was incredible. But it says there, Floyd's calf at Fort Worth wasn't perfect, but absolutely gangster show steer at Fort Worth. Elizabeth's reserve at Austin last year wasn't perfect. Awesome slick sheer show steer. Didn't act the right way. Maybe could come out a different outcome if he would have. Campbell's, we talked about Mickey Mouse Reserve crossbred. And then obviously as of recent, the reserve granted Iowa State Fair. And I remember that calf at RJ's. And this calf, lot 1, reminds me a lot of that animal that calf was really good at. His look, his balance, his eye appeal is absolutely incredible. His hair coat and color, being raised in Texas, besides his rub mark in his lower quarter and twist, that calf to me just looks like a extremely good class 9 or 10 at Fort Worth. If you want to show him in the hair, he could go to OIE and be very successful. I feel like slicked off his slick sheer balance, chest to flank, lower quarter ties in, his look, his top line balance, and then he has one absolutely incredible big awesome back leg. It works the right way. He is square. He is genuine. Calf has not been treated any differently because I think he's good. He's been in the pen with the other ones, eating like the other ones. And what I mean by that, I can't separate one calf out of 80 to feed them a certain way to make them look good for sale. And so I feel like when this calf gets home and you do get to do that, you could probably bulk him up a little bit if you wanted to, bloom him up right behind his shoulder. I'm just trying to keep the wheels on 80 head before they sell. So I think the calf is backed by an incredible cow. He has incredible brothers that have shown, and this calf himself has done nothing but get better since the day he was born. And I can say that because he was born here.
Isn't that 62-61? Is that a sib to Avon steer that won Fort Worth? I think so, right?
Sib to Avon steer that won Fort Worth. And he looked like he looked like this calf in terms of neck set, back leg, body, and balance.
Funny little, I wasn't there that year, but this year when I was in Fort Worth, I think the night before the show, we went upstairs above the arena. Have you ever eaten at that restaurant up there? I forget what it's called. You know what I'm talking about? Did you even know there was a restaurant up there? So above the arena where they show, there's a restaurant that Clint took us up there. And again, I don't remember the name of it, but you could look down and they had like the college rodeo going on. But there was a bunch of pictures of past Fort Worth champs up there in this restaurant from the sale, and that calf was like right when you walked in, there was a big picture of him from the sale, that smoke. And normally in those pictures from the sale, right, them cattle don't look near as good as they do in their backdrop picture, but that one did. You know what I mean? Like the day after being drug around that facility on the pavement everywhere, no fluff, no puff, he looked like the real deal even in that setting, which I thought was pretty wild.
Two
Um,
things.
yeah,
Calf was awesome. Second, there is no way Brandon Horn will ever let anything look bad.
yeah, that's
That
true.
guy is going to make sure his stuff looks the part
That's true.
because of that right there. Hey, somebody might walk in that restaurant, see that picture on that wall. We got
Yeah,
to make sure it's the part.
yeah, yeah. Let's get into lot two. Another sib to a lot of stuff that's won, a lot of stuff that's been real good, real popular, really nice colored yellow calf. Tell us about him.
Yeah, and so you see the footnotes. You know the pedigree. You know the potential outcome this calf can have for you. He was raised at the calf wean program, and I saw him, and they tell you, hey, we got an orange little red here that looks real good. And so you get pumped up, and you go, and you're psyching yourself up to see this calf. And then I saw him, I was like, man, he's not what I thought he was gonna be. And he didn't have the big, fat, hairy legs you see when you go to RJ's and look at these little reds. And then it just kind of hit me like a nice calf. I say that because when he came in, I got really excited. That calf did nothing but do the right things. For a little red, I love his neck. I love his crest. I love his jaw. I love his levelness of hip. A calf that is opened up and massive bodied. Structurally, calf, you can see the video, very comfortable, very sound. Doesn't look like he has any major holes, in my opinion, that can hurt him or detour him from being successful in the show ring. He is not going to be a heavyweight if you live in San Antonio. The calf is going to be a slower growing type of a steer, probably needs to stay north of Waco, preferably go out in West Texas to one of those awesome feeders out there and be their Houston stud. The color, the power, the look, the balance, man, he's a very good steer. Very, very happy, very proud to have him. Appreciate RJ working with me on this embryo that we got here.
What about lot three? Back to good. Been hearing a lot of good stuff about those cattle, and I'm guessing this is why. Looking at this calf, tell us about him.
Well, I feel like a good now because I didn't put him in the intro, but Walta is Matt Walta lives there in Kingfisher. We've been working with Walta since the very beginning, about 2015. We've had a lot of success, a lot of breed champions. Guy is extremely talented, very savvy, outside the box thinker. This back to good in God we trust. He sent me a video of him whenever he was in the pasture, and man, I was like, Lord, I hope he's gentle because he was walking around with his head, neck up in the air like a water muskin. You ever seen one of them come at you? That's what he looked like. And man, this calf is so good and so fun to look at. Big, soft paws, opened up, powerful, extremely good looking. In the notes, I don't know what his classification is. I don't really care. I thought he was a main. I have numerous guys that have stopped in that says he's a short horn. Whatever you buy this calf for, he is going to be very good. The calf is a little bit green right behind the shoulder. That has come on, but I still wish that would come on and keep coming. And then simply put, I had every intention on buying this calf from Matt and letting this be Hudson's Houston calf until we put him on the halter and realize that he's not little kid gentle. He is broken. He will lead. He does have some attitude that it's going to take a very patient showman and someone that is pretty savvy and knows how to get around one that's just not dog broke. But he is broke and he does lead. He's just very, very nervous. Calf's awesome. I'm proud of that calf.
Is this calf out of that same in God that he has a lot of that good stuff that you've had before? Or is this a different in God cow?
It could be. I never asked him. The Ingod females he's kept have been out of Ingod 4137, which would be sibs to the numerous high sellers we've had in the past. We had Reserve Lemmy for the Owens family years back at San Antonio about 3 years ago. Callis owned that cow with him and had lots of success out of that mate. I bet you it probably is, and if it is, I mean, it gets even better because the predictability of that pedigree is awesome as well.
Let's go to lot 4. This is actually an embryo that I sent you. Tell us about this calf.
Why don't you just tell us about the cow and why you made it this way?
The cow is probably my favorite looking in God cow I got running around. She's got fat feet, big legs. She's moderate sized, big bodied. She's out of a Troubadour Deja Vu. That Troubadour Deja Vu is a cow we had called 499 that me and my business partner Jay bought out of a guy's place in Iowa. Went back to Trinan's Deja Vu cow. I think they called her 306 or something, that had a bunch of stuff a while back that worked really good. She's clean, and I'd seen some of them stand out in gods I liked, so I flushed her that way, and here we are.
Obviously, I've seen the cow and think she's incredible too. That's why I agreed to put him in. This calf has always been kind of pinpointed for this sale. I don't know. You saw him during Fort Worth time. Now you see him clipped up. And in the notes, I think this is as safe of a steer to make the sale at Fort Worth as we can possibly offer. With the guy coming back to judge and him more or less hind legs sorting them when they came out of the curtain, which by the way, I think is incredible. That is a quality sort, and that's awesome. Keep it up, Frank. This calf's back leg is big, stout, and awesome. And he should, and I would bet gets pulled pretty quickly because he is opened up, big bodied, has the right kind of frame, width, and body type for that ring. And it took me a long time to realize that, but there is a type of animal that does do better at Fort Worth. And it's not going to be the one that you like in the makeup ring. It's not going to be the kind that you know is a stall steer. They've got to look like this. And they've got to be chunky, opened up, good build. This calf is going to be fun this summer to be a scimitar. He'll have awesome hair. Calf is very, very gentle, very powerful. If I were to change this animal, if I was judging him, he walked in, a couple things, I would just say that, hey, we've got to make sure that we don't let him get too fat looking, because I just got him talking about he's not going to be the biggest. I think he's a class 5 through 9. And at the same time, he has done it, come on very well since he arrived from the calf wean program, but he was never quite perfect behind his shoulder. But it has gotten a lot better. And so I feel comfortable with that. Main thing is just slow roll him. Don't let him get too fat. Go have fun. This is something I am not proud of, but it is something it's an attribute to the calf. The calf had quite a bit of foot rot, or I'd say had plenty of foot rot in one foot. And I didn't notice it, but I'm running around crazy. We didn't doctor it until after he got out of the pitcher pen. So if you look at his video and he's still walking around like that with foot rot, it tells you the calf's feet are pretty incredible. So management foul on my part, but an extra point for the calf for being a gangster, I guess.
I guess he's just tough. Tell us about lot 5. In God goes back to a really good cow, BMs at 225.
Yeah, Dad bought this one's mother from the revival that Potts raised, and she is awesome and looks just like this calf. Incredibly good. Slick sheer look to his front 1/3. That cow came up open after we bought her, so we just went ahead and IVF'd her, and this is the result. Calf's got really nice soft hair. I think he would do fine at Fort Worth. I know his legs look huge when we fit him and build it with adhesive. I really think his best day is going to be at Houston slicked off. I mean, his neck, his chest, his back shape, his body type and shape, the way his lower quarter ties into his hock, all those things look like an ideal slick shear show steer to me. Calf is very, very powerful. Another one that's not going to be the biggest. He is bigger than the other ones for his age, but calf needs to be slow road probably, and be probably a 1330, 1340 at Houston. It would be his ideal weight, in my opinion.
The calf's got really awesome proportions. Lot 6, another back to good. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I bought this calf from Brandon early on. He was skinny, young. He looked like fun. I mean, he was red, he was hairy, he was polled. Couldn't tell if he was a shorthorn, couldn't tell if he was a red cross. Man, he just fun. I mean, it looks like a family could take him to Fort Worth. If there is a family that says, "Hey, I've got a budget of this, and we're going to buy one steer, and we want to be able to go to Fort Worth or Houston or San Antonio," this would be a calf that I would say, "Hey, sack him up." He's got so many options. He's very gentle. A calf that I just think is going to be really, really fun. If he's a red cross, he's good. If he's a shorthorn, he's good. If he's a red Angus, he's probably not going to get beat. And slipped off. I don't know why he would get kicked out of the red Anguses, besides the fact that he's big boned and good. But if we don't quality classify them, his head's perfect, his ears perfect, his eyes perfect, and he's the right color.
Tell us about lot 7, a really fun colored one that looks like he's going to feed nice.
Yeah, so another one that Walter raised out of a new bull of Chris Black's called Center of Attention. I think there's two of them that he said that he named Center of Attention. This one would be more out of the red and white, not the red blaze face. But this calf is going to be very, very fun for somebody. Looks like he's probably going to be tough to beat in the Scimitars all year long at prospect shows. Will have nice hair for you to flip and fit and make him look like he's there to win. A calf that's probably, I don't know, 7 through 9 at Fort Worth, probably a heavy at San Antonio, Houston. Really fault free. Probably not the sleekest or the craziest look into his front one third, but he's long neck. Body is just good. Muscle is good. Structure is good.
Tell us about lot 8. This is one I had to start by when I came through a month and a half ago or whatever it's been. I thought this was a really nice calf.
Yeah, so I'm really terrible at clipping, but I can down shear with the absolute best of them.
It looks
And
good.
this calf didn't have any leg hair to make it all balance or proportion out. And so I told the guys, "Hey, let's down shear this calf. I bet he'll look better." And I'm so glad I did, because now you can see what his potential could look like next year at Houston. I absolutely love this mating. I love this cow. We had 8th in class 11 at Fort Worth this year of Elizabeth out of this cow. We've done very well with the cattle out of this cow. They feed good. They get stouter as they mature. This one didn't hit me like he had enough foot and bone until we slicked him off. And I was like, okay, hey, well, he got plenty to be a slick shear black cross. Some guys come by and say he's a Simmental. Again, I don't get or understand our classification rules anymore. So I'd like to buy one that has options, and he does. He's a black cross or a Simmental, maybe even a Maine if you want to run a Maine. But what I do know is he is very good. Elite in terms of his slick shear look, shape, body shape, and muscle structure is awesome. Really like this calf.
Going from one lady killer to another lady killer, lot 9. Tell us about this heifer.
Yeah, and this just verifies why I like this cow, because we just have a how great steer, and now we have a how great heifer. And you usually don't get a steer that's supposed to be or look like a steer than a heifer that looks like a heifer out of a club calf mating. This heifer, my notes say it. These are the kind that you keep, or these are the kind that you buy when you're given the opportunity, not the kind you sell. So functional on her feet and her legs, awesome in terms of her body, awesome in terms of her width and her just natural power. And then you can see it in her picture if you watch her video, her ear set, her presence. Obviously, it comes from Mama, right? Because she's got the lady killer look and presence. It's unreal. We don't have a heifer for junior nationals. Probably should have thought about putting this one in Hudson's Pen. We've got bills to pay, but I mean, her notes say it in her comments. She's going to show, she's going to calve, and then you're going to flush her. And then we're going to flush her somewhere along the line as well. High quality, very, very good, awesome female.
Tell us about lot 10, this burly husky one.
So we're starting the Americans off. And if I can, I'll always start off with the Minde calf. And not because of the pedigree, but the calf's quality is warranted to lead off our Americans. This one is down sheared, but I'm going to start off with this. He had really nice soft hair that if a family works hard, he could very easily go to Fort Worth. But I thought his muscle pattern and the way that he was built, he looked like he needed to be slicked off and just portrayed as a slick sheared steer. This calf has pieces to me that are hard to make and hard to just get. I think this calf could look incredible at San Antonio. He's a full sib to our high seller last year. He's a full sib to Genesis. He's a full sib to numerous replacement females, obviously out of Minde. I love the calf. I think he has a bright future in the right home. I think this calf is going to be a force to reckon with. Some may say, oh, he's a little bit low pinned. That's cool. Maybe he is because he probably is a shot low pin, but that's going to allow that calf to always be sound and use his back leg like he needs to. Some may say that, I don't know, maybe that's it. Like that's just probably where I change that calf. Just maybe just pick him up ever so slightly in this pin set. He needs to be dehorned. We haven't dehorned anything. I'm sorry. I just am more worried about keeping them healthy, getting them broke, and keeping them gentle, versus if they have scurs or not.
What about lot 11?
Yeah, so Lot 11 is a full sib to Chicken Dance's Reserve Grand at Houston. And like we talked about in the opening statements, there's two of these. One of them kind of mirrors Standout a little bit. The other one mirrors the Reserve Grand at Houston. This Sembro is one that I honestly have been paying attention and thought that I'd always keep back for Hudson. One, he is the right size to be a fresh heavyweight at Houston that you'd never have to hold. You never really have to push. You just get to feed him. Two, he has big lead pieces. He has an awesome profile picture that we didn't put up, but quite frankly, I'm trying to be different any and every way I possibly can be with this sale because there's thousands of online sales, specifically March 20th through April 15th. And I have this shot that Katie took that I think's awesome. I mean, that shows that that calf is high tine. He's chest forward, his forearm is huge, body shape is big. Obviously, his back leg and rear end are very, very large. His color pattern is going to allow him to be a Sembro. Should be no questions at all, classification wise. Calf is just going to be really fun. If you live in South Texas, he's probably a middleweight. If you live out in West Texas, he's for sure heavyweight.
There, your profile, the profile picture is posted on here. So if anyone wants to know what it looks like and how good he balances, just click through the photos here on SC and it's here.
Gosh, yeah, and it says he's a July. He's probably a good 60 days younger than the calves that were. This one was raised at the house. He is legitimately the end of July. I remember him calving out right before I left to go to Illinois State Fair, and he's probably every bit of 50 days younger than our Junes that we have in here, and so I say that I know he's not going to be a great big one, but he is not too small. He's young, and you can see that in his head. And I also say that because he's probably nickel green behind his shoulder, and it needs to continue to keep coming. I think it will.
Lot 12 is a full sib and looks like he's built incredible. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so this calf has been full of surprises. When he was born, it looked like that he was the neighbor's Corriini had gotten in and bred our recip. And I was just kind of disappointed. And to be real honest with you, I never really paid much attention to this calf. And then we weaned him off. We're like, hey, man, this calf's going to make the team. He'll make the sale. He'll look fine. And then he got on feed, and he's really put it on. His mom didn't milk very well at all. His mom is no longer in our program. She went to the local auction barn because she tried to starve this one. But this calf has done nothing but get better. His presence and eye appeal is absolutely top tier. It's incredible. He looks just like the brother that did at Houston that was Reserve Grand. I will never forget that calf turning the corner, putting his head in the shavings, and then he cocked off when he got pulled and did this look right here. And I get chills thinking about it because that calf has that same look. He's never going to overpower anybody. But the cool thing about this one, in my opinion, in just reading livestock, he's got forearm. He is big and square and level behind his shoulder. His pin set is wide and square. He needs time. He needs feed. All those are going to come. And the reason why I say he's full of surprises is one, didn't think he was going to make the sale. Two, never thought he had enough muscle. And then three, I thought he was a champion Brangus, and then I sheared his head. He's got scurs. So he is a girt, unfortunately, but that's okay. Black hide and slick sheared cattle are on their way back, I feel like. So good show steer here that I think if you're going to bet on a skinny one, this is probably where I'd put my chips.
What about lot 13, Golden Boy? You've had a few of those here recently too that's done some good. This calf looks awesome.
Yeah, so just working with the Kep family and watching them and listening and learning on how they have fed those calves. I like this calf quite a bit for what he is. Still Kenny raised this calf. Still has been a part of our program the past 2 or 3, 4 years. He's helped us since he's been in college. He's a hardworking, awesome young man that I wish nothing but the best for. Steele actually bought this one's mother out of an online sale from that Dr. Warner had, and I put the cow in the sale. I raised this one's mother as an embryo. She got black leg because the calf queen program did not vaccinate. I had to take her to the vet, and I did not have enough money to pay my vet bill. So Dr. Warner, being the generous human being he can be, I said, I'll cover it and I'll just take half of her. And so we sold her in that sale because we were not utilizing her and we were not breeding her the way she needed to be bred. And quite honestly, I didn't think Golden Boy would work, and still told me he did it. But look at here. This is why it takes all kinds of kinds to make this world go around. I think this calf needs to be paying attention to. His structure is ideal. His body is the right shape, has the right depth. His turn to his quarter, his twist, his width, all of those things. He is never going to get called the freakiest neck or those things, but it's high tying, it's very long, it's proportional to his body. He's very arrogant in the way he carries himself. A calf should never get kicked out. I think this calf has a very bright future. If we can keep him from getting sunburn over the next 3 weeks, now that he's sheared, I think he'll be fun all summer long too. Very, very gentle, very good calf.
Tell us about lot 14, the calf with the hip and hind leg, the way I like them, big and awesome.
That's right. Yeah, so lot 14 is the first one that Dalton Nix has in the sale. And this is one of those brothers out of the H82 that go back to 2 class winners at Fort Worth and then a 4th or 5th this past year for his daughter. And I think he has another one that's a brother to this one going to Houston that looks a lot like this one. I will tell you that this calf is just fun and just looks awesome. He was raised on Dalton's jersey because I guess his mother didn't want to help this little guy live, but he has the best attitude. He is awesome in terms of his build, his back leg, like you talked about. His power is unreal. His color is absolutely awesome. A calf that has really, really good hair. Dalton wants him to be a Fort Worth one. I think that's awesome if you want to go try to win class, the one of the lightweights of the Americans. I feel like this calf's greater purpose is to slick off and go to Houston and try to be a banner contender. Awesome show steer. Awesome, awesome calf.
Another one from that Nick's H82 cow in lot 15. Tell us about him.
Yeah, another brother. This is one of the ones that has a hernia. We didn't know it until we sheared him off. But I think he's a middle at Fort Worth, has nice hair, will have nice hair. I hate to waste him at Fort Worth. I think this calf in the right home is a contender. Slick shear ABC. I mean, that back leg slicked off is going to look unreal. His look through his front 1/3 is ideal, in my opinion. He's got a good, long, high tying neck, but it still has, something that looks like, hey, he's not going to be hard doing. A calf that's body shape is right, power is awesome. Calf that is just, to me, in the right home could be very, very tough. I will tell you a couple things about this animal. He's broke. He's fine. He does get worked up a little bit, but a calf that's not crazy, he's not mean, just needs more time. But I think that calf, I really like this show steer.
For one that has a hernia, he's done really good. Normally, them things don't look like that. They look
Yeah,
like they don't
it ain't a
convert
bad
very well,
one.
but
It's gonna. He's never even gonna notice that he even had surgery. It's not gonna bother
he's
him
going
at
to
all.
explode after that gets resolved. Lot 16, stand
So
calf.
yeah, so Mark Arnold brought us 2 calves to sell. One's going to go on the best of the best, and then this one here, this first online sale. This cow's backed by, from what I understand, the absolute very best dirt cow in the breed. They call it the old red dirt cow, I think. And Mark's a student. I mean, Yes, I get it. It's funny, but I'm pretty sure they call her red girt cow. And and he's a student of the game. Mark pays attention, and he flushed her to stand out to get some red girts. Calf's classification is not going to be an issue. Calf is very, very good. I mean, I feel like if you want one that is going to be a very good, high quality fat steer that's never probably going to blow you away, but never going to have any major issues, this is the calf. I feel like at Houston, this calf could look very good, very nice show steer.
The first CM that we've seen in lot 17 looks really nice. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so lot 17 is dang sure one of my favorites. And the Ivies raised this calf in De Leon, and so they've kind of got to watch him grow up. And if you have any major questions about him, you can call them. But this is out of Dad's cow, the red lace face cow that I mentioned in our opening notes that we bought from Kendall Long, and got Ivy to put some of those in for us there because he had some extra recips. And man, I know he's not perfect. I know he's got some extra sheath. I know he's got some extra skin in his chest. It's not fat, but it still lays in there the right way. I think this calf is big league, awesome dirt at Houston. I mean, his stoutness, his build, his look, his body shape, but more importantly, this thing's back did get it from his daddy. I mean, it is big, it is square, it is wide, it is smooth, it holds water as a 450-pound little baby calf. This calf, I think, has a very bright future to be very, very good.
Yeah, his width and pin set looks phenomenal. Looks like you got a full brother in lot 18.
Yeah, so the brother is another one that probably on the cow we like the best. One that his slick shear just pieces to me are just awesome. He's tighter chested, he's tighter necked, he's way good looking than his brother in terms of his crest and length of neck. His body shape and proportions to me are really good. He's probably a nickel softer and bolder in his heart and just softer all the way through his just cavity, you could say. But his power is unreal. A calf that I think is very, very close to being very big league at times, and just call a spade a spade. And I'm sure I'm going to hurt myself from a dollar perspective, but just be realistic with you. Calf's not 100. I mean, he'll pop his ankle at every third, fourth step, and I don't know if it's because I'm pushing these cattle, we're getting ready for sale. I don't know if it's because he got so much power bred into him. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's something that's going to be like, oh, he's going to be a terrible animal. I think that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to, whoever buys this calf, and just know that, hey, he needs to be slow rolled, does not need a high protein feed. Just coast him, keep him juicy enough to get along like you need to. And just make sure whoever's trimming his feet knows they're doing it. I bet you, as a fat steer, I bet that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, his angles all look right. So normally that's a positive in that scenario.
Yeah,
What
just
about
go ahead. Let me just point out exactly where it needs to be better before you get somebody come to the house and you see, yep, Brent was right. He pops his foot every third step.
Tell us about lot 19, this Nelson calf.
Yeah, I bet Thigpen's looking at this sound just going, oh, Lord, for numerous different reasons. This is out of his boy he calls Nelson / Voodoo, American Voodoo, and out of a cow that the Norwoods purchased out of our from us out of our heifer sale 2 or 3 years back. She was an amazing grace redhead, and she was absolutely incredible. Another one that in the comments I put, this is the kind you keep, not the kind you sell. And this calf is a direct reflection of why I said that. This calf has really nice soft hair, but I will tell you that I feel like that is one incredible slick shear Cimarron at Houston. His foot, his bone, his back leg structure is awesome. His power is unreal. He's been in the pen with the powerful calves, getting fed a nickel slower. And like I said, I know he has hair and he'll be awesome at footwork to be a really good middleweight. But I can't help but think and slipped off how good this calf could be in the Cimarron show. High quality show steer.
Lot 20's got the big legs and the stout head. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so if you read my comments, this was supposed to be our next cleanup bull and potential AI promotion bull. And our calf weaning program didn't communicate too well with their change of management, and this guy got cut. So real irrelevant. He's here. He's very good. Legs are ginormous. Body is awesome. Width is awesome. Skinny, tiny neck on top of big everything else is the way I look at him. Calf's not perfect. He's probably not as expressive or big right behind his shoulder, and I can't tell if that's just the pedigree or if that's just the fact that he's a nickel younger than some of them other ones, which is another reason why I wanted to leave him a bull. But the calf looks like he's going to be an awesome Houston Gert. And like my comments say, if there is a bigger boned Gert at Houston, hats off to you. But more importantly, if there's a bigger bone Gert at Houston that their legs work like his or like his do, that's impressive.
What about lot 21, the first 30 I think we've seen as we scroll through the sale?
Yeah, so this is a new mating. We didn't talk about it in the opening, but we did flush through the NWO. This is a TH hot mating. Obviously, gamble just a little bit, and we've got this black Fort Worth show steer. And I don't know of the Americans if there is a more arrogant, proud, good-looking calf than this one. His structure is awesome. His balance is awesome. Look is awesome. Hair is going to be unreal. I will tell you today, he came in, looked a little bit shallow to me, didn't have the most muscle. Body is not going to be an issue. And the way his muscle continues to keep coming on, I don't see it being a problem. Calf can be a Brangus during the summertime. Obviously, a heavyweight American at Fort Worth. I do think of the Fort Worth ones that we do have, he is one of those that's going to be 15, 15, 50. The cool thing about the Fort Worth American show, there's only three classes: light, middle, heavy. When you're a heavy, it don't matter what they weigh. If you're going to be a heavy, be big, get it on. That's what this cap's going to be. I made the comment in my notes that in the right home, this calf will be a player or contender. I do believe that. There is a bag of feed or a feed company called High Pro that makes some really hot corn, high protein feed. And I bet you if someone from West Texas buys this calf and puts him on High Pro, I bet you this calf's going to do all the good.
Tell us about lot 22. This calf's build looks A1.
Yeah. So this is a full sieve to Callan Nix's reserve Brangus at San Antonio last year, which would have been the very first CM to hit the ring. This is one of those in his rookie calf crop. So John, being the fortune teller he is and knowing how good that calf was as a baby, he just went ahead and re-racked that pedigree. And I'm glad he did. I think this calf is legit, straight up awesome. Structure is awesome. His power from behind is just like his daddy CM. His neck set and look and presence to his front 1/3 is absolutely awesome. I will tell you that he's probably nickel green right behind his shoulder. And the other disappointment and surprise we got when we sheared his head, he does have a scur. I think by the rules, he can be a Brangus, but more than likely he'll be a Gert at San Antonio. And I still think his awesome back leg is going to be hard to turn on that carpet at San Antonio.
So this is a dumb question. If they have a scur, then they don't let them get in Brangus normally.
I've seen them let him get in the Brangus, and I've also seen him kick him out. So
I'm glad you said this is one of your favorites. Just watching the video, this one hit me pretty hard. I thought it was one of the better ones we'd seen, just judging by video.
Hey,
looks pretty sweet.
John gets it. He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he knows. What about this red, white, baldy Michael Jordan, lot 23?
Yeah. So Dalton also flushed his cow to stand out and resulted in what I think is going to be an awesome San Antonio Sembro. He's got the performance to get there to be a big heavyweight one. And I don't know if you've ever watched the Sembro or Simmental show at San Antonio, Houston, but those are big cattle, very big cattle. This one's going to be a heavyweight. His color and his color pattern, I think, is absolutely awesome. They'll have hair for Fort Worth. I think you're wasting them there if that's the case. But I think slicked off, he's going to be a really fun Sembro at San Antonio.
Lot 24 is the first Genesis we've seen on this sale. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so this one got unloaded from the calf wean, and man, I was so pumped up when I found out that he was a Genesis. I mean, to me, there was one of our buddies made a comment to me. He said, "Hey, when you judge, you pick them like you like them, and when you raise them, you breed them like you like them." And if I had to draw an outline of an animal, regardless of breed, cut the ears off, cut the sheath off, and I had to tell you, "Hey, this is how I like him. This is him." His proportions and his balance to his front one third is incredible. Short back, you can see the crease down his back in this picture. I mean, it is huge. And then his hip and hind leg is absolutely awesome. There is one thing that I know for certain that you cannot feed, fix, or change when you buy animals, and that is their natural presence and structure. Okay. Structure is A1, and his presence, he walks around the ring or walks around the pen like, "Hey, look at me. I am very good." And he is. Calf's awesome. Going to be a Houston, Gert. Maybe he's a Brangus. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That calf is very good.
Yeah, he looks like the hammer. I like how dense he is, like in just in his bone work, like down there. He's got like cankles, like just the big fat burly ankles and fat feet.
Oh yeah, I need to add this calf is well qualified to show at the state Brangus and Junior National show. You've got to have one registered parent, and he will blood type and parent ID. I will get that going as soon as the sale ends. If someone wants to go to those shows, I think one's in College Station, maybe the other one's in Chickasha. I don't know, but he will be fun to go to that summer show and compete with those guys.
Lot 25 is another Genesis. Are they Sibs 24 and 25? Or
Yeah,
just
so
similar?
they're full brothers, and this one's not as stout or as extreme in his muscle. This one's probably not as clean in his look, but he's probably a little bit smoother shouldered. He's probably a little bit softer bodied, or just probably just bloomier bodied. A calf that is still powerful, a calf that is still big bone, a calf that is still good looking. Another one that his neck attaches the right way, and that what makes me really excited about our bull is the fact that you've got two full sibs here that in terms of proportions and balance and eye appeal, those two cattle are pretty good.
Another In God Minde in lot 26. Tell us about him.
So usually I wouldn't have something like this laying around the house right now, and contemplated with you, consulted with Quinn on what I needed to do this year. If I needed to have two or three different sales, just throw them all into one. And it always came back to just have one sale. So instead of selling any of these, we just held on to them all the ages. And this is the oldest calf in the sale, and he is one that I think is going to be a hammer at Dallas. His back foot and reach and structure and just function to his rear leg is absolutely incredible. Calf's proportions and balance is exactly what we get when we talk about the In God Minde mating. I will tell you a couple of things on this one. One, I can say this, I watched it happen. He got rode and he did get hurt, and you can see the little blemish in the picture on the front of his hock. And he did live in the hospital for about 3 weeks, and it never got real bad. I just try to protect him, make sure that our calf could be sold one day. So he does have a little puffiness in the front of his hock. If that bothers you, please do not bid on this calf. He is selling as is. I'm being open about it. This does not bother me. It's never gotten worse. It does not affect his structure, but I don't want someone to buy him and then 3 weeks later say, "Hey, he's got swelling on his hock." Well, yeah, he's had swelling on his hock for the past 3 months. The other thing about it is, of this mating, he was never the most powerful, over the past couple months. And I will tell you that shearing him, the better weather, all the things, this calf has really put it on and really bloomed up. So really hard to find property here in terms of a Dallas American that can run at the breed. And trying to find one of those right now is really challenging, just the time of the year. I'm glad I held on to him. I'm glad I can offer him to the public.
About lot 27, back by a really good cow there of Embryo's. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so Brent is one of my favorite humans. We bought these embryos of the American Nation. We calved them. This one's going to go on this sale. We have a bigger yellow one that's going to go on the best of the best. Brent jokes around and says this color of this mating, they always end up being the best. Well, he can't say that anymore because the reserve at ABC at Houston this past year was yellow, and he says that because the first champion was this color. He reminds me a lot of that calf that was champion that year at San Antonio, from his color pattern to his size of his legs, his neck set as a baby, his raw, hard back shape that he has there behind his shoulder. Calf's awesome. He's going to be in middleweight at middle to heavy at Houston, depending on where you live. He classifies all day long. ABC for sure, maybe Cinnabral. I don't know. We'll let the guys that classify make that call, but I think this calf has a world of future. Very high quality American show steer.
So this one's mother. I've heard of the cow. Obviously, I'm not dialed in on the American deal, but she has already hung a few big banners at these
Yeah, I mean
at these slick steer shows the last couple of years.
the first champion was at San Antonio under Shockey and Parker Henley, and he actually got called out to be in the top five. Calf's legs were enormous, feet were big and soft. I was actually contending bitter, or as I say now, pretending bitter on that show steer. I wish I'd have bought him. And then this past year, Heron bought one out of his online sale and sold it to a family in East Texas, and they are reserve ABC last Houston with one that was, I mean, some kind of powerful.
Awesome. Lot 28, maybe my favorite pedigree I've seen so far. Horn bull, horn cow. Tell us about this deal.
Yeah, I don't know his pedigree, and on the back of the ear tag, I can't read the handwriting. But Dad raised this one in Giddings, and it's a result from a bred cow purchase that he made from this summer from Brandon Horn. And honestly, really didn't think much of him when he was on the cow, and then we tied him up and quartered him off, and like, hey man, this calf's got a shot. His structure and flexibility and just function to his joints, all four legs are awesome. His top line presence and balance is awesome. Very square, very genuine. If you want to push him to be a lightweight at Dallas, I think this calf can absolutely handle all the smoke you want to throw at him from an implant or Paline perspective. If you want to be a heavyweight Brangus and slow roll him and let his big feet shine on the carpet at San Antonio, I think that's cool too.
Lot 29 looks like another Nick's bred critter. Tell us about that calf.
Yeah, so when Ivy and I went to Dalton's to look at calves on the cow, this one was one of my favorites. And I say that because his presence, eye appeal was just awesome. Just walked around like, hey, look at me. Body was so practical, had lots of power. You know, they came in and you want to nitpick on him and go, hey, well, he's probably triple clean, so he doesn't have the hair on his legs, doesn't have the extra bone. But I bet you, as a fat steer, his feet and bone are going to be huge. He looks like to me that a first year feeder could feed him and go make the sale, if not be a contender at Houston, because he's sound, he's got body, he's got muscle, and he's good looking. There's not a whole lot of things that you're going to have to play Albert Einstein with in terms of feeding this animal to make him into something that he doesn't genuinely already have. So I really like that calf. I think he's awesome, big bodied, powerful, awesome in terms of his feet and his legs. Looks very, very safe. Still has the extras to be a competitor.
Lot 30's one with wild presence and unbelievable look. Tell us about him.
So this is one that was raised at the calf wean program, and this is another one that has a hernia. This one's plenty large, but the calf is doing the right thing, so it doesn't scare me. Like I said, March 31st, I've already got it booked. He will have surgery, and then it will get taken care of. The new owner will not have to worry about a thing. This calf, I think, is awesome. I love this mating. Like I talked about in the opening, when the Amazing Graces are good luck beating them, because this look, this back shape, this body type, and that rear leg is why they are hard to beat. I think this calf is going to be very good, and I'm not going to tell you he can win. And I know I'm sitting here excited and I'm pumped up about all 50 lots. So yeah, I'm excited. We raised these things. It's an 18-month project. We put a lot of work into this. And so what I'm getting at is, I'm not telling you this calf can win, but I bet you whoever buys this calf and they take care of him right, I bet you I get a picture before you load up to go to Houston. And I bet you say, hey, I think we got a shot. And at the end of the day, with how hard this is getting and how many people are starting to raise these things, as long as you put yourself in the fight and you've got a shot, then you're doing the right stuff. You can't always win, but you can always put yourself into the mix. And I think this calf will put you into the mix.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the calves, but that I'm glad you said that because I think that's maybe the most important thing in this deal anymore is just if you're in contention, then you just need to get lucky after that, basically, and hope you hit the guy on the right day and have the right one. And I think that's the sometimes the hardest thing to communicate to the customer is you just got to grind it out and you got to be among the ones that are available to win. That's probably the most
Yeah, I
important
mean,
thing.
I was always taught, it's skill to get into the top three of your class in a major show. Anything past that is luck. And the stars have got to align like you talked about, like we talked about in the opening statement. If you would have told me that that Red American was going to be reserve grand at Fort Worth when we left our house, no. If you had told me, hey, you're going to be a contender to win that breed, oh, for sure. I knew the quality there was that good. And then to follow it up with the Brangus at Houston to be reserve grand overall, and then to follow it up again, knowing that, hey, this is now not starting to be a joke or a fluke that these Americans are winning. And then the gray silver body beast wins the show. And then like this year, we win Dixie with the In God kill shot. Yeah, these things are starting to have a chance to get it done, but it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of luck.
Lot 31, another water to wine 30, looks like an awesome feed one. Tell us about him.
Yeah, this is another one of those matings out of 30 that I honestly didn't expect to be this good, but I am so pumped up that I did it at least once because I'm a goon and did not do it again. This is actually a result from an embryo that I sold to my old judging team partner and teammate and guy that flushes and puts in all my embryos, Jonathan Hashery. I love his wife. She is the most outgoing person that is will tell you what she thinks. And she told her husband that I want to buy American embryos. And Jonathan kind of being on the inside of the scenes has seen what Minde did, but he also saw 30 because he was flushing her and knew that, hey, these probably are going to sell a little bit cheaper because she's probably not as well known. And sure enough, he got in when the getting was good because he raised some absolute awesome beasts here. This water to wine calf here, I think, is for sure a Houston Brangus contender. He has hair to have fun at Fort Worth, but I don't want to waste him there. I think this calf is absolutely awesome. And I preface this two ways to say that, hey, Jonathan raised this calf. I want him to get his credit. And then two, Jonathan lives in Brahmin country down there, El Campo. It is hot. It is humid. It is miserable. The mosquitoes are bigger than the calves when they're born. So what I'm telling you is this calf's only going to get better when he goes into the right environment. Calf is absolutely awesome, very gentle, very fun.
Lot 32 is a full sib to 31. Tell us about him. He looks like he's a good feeder as well.
Yeah, so 32 is another one that mirrors the build that we're trying to go after. I will tell you that 31 is going to be a heavyweight. 32, not a chance. This thing could wrap around the Dallas if you wanted to. He looks like to me, if you have a first year kid and you want one that is fun, gentle, and high quality, this is it. I think this calf's going to be a lightweight Brangus if he gets to about 1150, 1200. If not, I know he'll be 1,000 pounds. He could be an awesome lightweight ABC at Houston. Calf is awesome in terms of his pieces, foot, bone, body power, neck is long. Just not going to be very big, but going to be very fun.
Got a King of Kings 30 and Lot 33. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so when this one came in from the calf wean program, just time out, he's got a hernia as well. It's another one that I've got to put on there. This one's smaller. It's not bad. We'll get it fixed. Won't be an issue. He came in from the calf wean program. I really didn't think much of this steer, to be honest with you. I just thought he was a big bone silver calf that had a lot of hair. And when we tied him up that first day, he was one of the very first ones that we quartered and clipped. And when we tied him up and quartered him, man, it came together. This calf's balance and eye appeal is awesome. Calf is very square, very genuine, surprisingly more powerful than a guy would think. You think that he's probably a little bit flatter, but that calf's back is big and his pins are wide. Comes from a calf wean program that doesn't really do the extras in terms of creep feed and all those things. So the calf should only perform that much better when you get him home. And he has done that at our house. I made the comment in my notes down there. You can read them. He looks average loose. He does. Call a spade. But I bet if you show up and you tie him up, I bet he is one that you're going to want to put on your list to go to Fort Worth with, because we just got on talking about a different lot of being about how Frank pretty much quality sorted them when they came into the carpet or past the drape, and he did that based off their rear leg structure. And I think this one's rear leg is going to be big and attractive and awesome when we fit him up at Fort Worth.
Another King of Kings 30 in lot 34. He looks like the denser one of the two that we've talked about. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so 34, I think he's also dual purpose like 33, but where I like 33 for Fort Worth and then a slick show, I actually like this one for a slick show and then Fort Worth. This calf is no holes, very sound, very comfortable, chunky, good muscle, good bodied. As a fat steer, probably not going to be the wildest next, but never going to get caught playing. Maybe just good in terms of his foot and his bone right now, but his feet are big, so I feel like that's going to get bigger with time. That usually happens with clean cattle. I'm sure he's probably clean. He might be a TH carrier, but that being said, I just think that this one is just so easy, so safe, so fun. Be an awesome Houston ABC.
And we have another King of Kings 30 in lot 35. He looks like the softest haired of the three. What else?
Yeah, so this one is fun. This one is incredible at the ground. Body's awesome. Power's awesome. I got to preface it with this way. This is actually another embryo that we sold in our embryo sale to Clayton Gardowski, who lives in Needville, Texas, about 20 minutes, maybe an hour, I think, east of where the two black ones were raised. So he lives pretty much in Houston. Like I talked about, it's hot, it's humid, it's miserable. I lived there for a couple summers. The mosquitoes, like I said, are bigger than the calves when they're born. So this calf is only going to perform that much better when he gets to his final destination in terms of his home. Honestly, this is what I dreamed of my son showing his first year, from his color to his build to his body, his characteristics in terms of classification, his power. There is no way that this calf walks in a ring, and I don't care who judges, Jack Ward, Kevin Jensen to Mark Hope, there's no way they don't say that that calf is high quality, and there's no way that calf's not going to be in contention to win his class. Did the notes say it best? He's never going to be the biggest one, but I bet you he ends up at the top of his class, if not wins his breed at most prospect shows, and I bet you at the end he's going to be hard to beat that lightweight class at Fort Worth.
Starting with lot 36, we get into a string of these 8 and bluffing 30s, and I thought this was a really impressive group of them when I was down there. Tell us about 36 to get us started.
Yeah, so we talked about 30 has 15 lots in the sale, and I think 6 or 7 of these make up 8 bluffins, make up to be 8 bluffins. And man, I'm so glad I did this. This calf I thought was going to be Hudson's Houston Brangus whenever he was born. And like I said, we're trying to move away from not showing and competing against our customers right out of the box. This calf has a TH bump, so he has to be a girt. I guess if you're feeling frisky and you want to try it, go get them. They've done it before and let a TH one into the Brangus before. I've seen them kicked out ones that shouldn't get kicked out, and I've seen them let them in when they shouldn't. So I don't know anymore. But what I'm telling you is this calf is awesome. His structure and balance and attractiveness of skeleton to me is awesome. Rear leg attractiveness is awesome. Function to his rear leg is awesome. Body is practical and easy feeding. Power is square, genuine, and just very, very good. Calf's got a tick of character, I call it, through his chest. It's not down low. It's just out in front of him. That's some extra skin. You can look at it like, hey, he's going to have some chest, or you can look at it like, hey, he's going to be an easy feeding one that has a little bit extra skin. I've noticed on these ones that have some extra skin, they're the big-bodied, good fat steers that we like in the end. This calf's going to be very fun. If he goes to a home that works hard, has the right kind of accommodations in terms of their barn, this calf could be an awesome middleweight at Fort Worth as well.
Lot 37, he's got the big stompers on him. Tell us about him.
Yeah. So like his brother, I always kind of thought that this would be Hudson San Antonio Brangus. I just thought we're going to load up on the Brangus and just go at him. And I thought this would be his scholarship winner. Two things. One, I still think the calf can win a scholarship, just not going to be with my son. And three, we have the best, one of, if not the best photographer in the business, I feel like, that does our stuff. And this is not her fault. This is the way the calf did it. I can't explain it. His video does not match my notes, but man, he looked like he pops his ankle in the video and just looks like he just wasn't having the best day. And I even went back last night to make sure I'm not blind and being barn blind. But regardless of his sale video, come look at him in person. This is one of the absolute very best structured, best footed animals that we will offer. His back leg is big, good, and soft. His pin set is uniquely, and I say that and feel very confidently saying that, is uniquely level, square, and genuine. Not very many Americans are that level pinned and that square pinned. Calf has a perfect Brangus head. Looks like to me he's going to be very hard to beat in the Brangus show.
Lot 38 is a high presence one, another brother to these Ain't Bluffin' 30s. What do we need to know here?
So there's three of these haired brothers. They were all raised, they're a month younger, and they were raised at a calf weaning program in Oklahoma that we talked about. They do a nice job. They raised our reserve Granite Houston. They raised the calf we called Sox. They raised Genesis until we got them home, put them on the jersey. But what I'm getting at is these cattle always end up doing better once they get weaned off. Of the three that we have them clipped like they're ready to go to Fort Worth, this one looks like he is very easily going to be a heavyweight, in my opinion. This calf is very high quality. The barn guys and clippers, Tebow, he's a stud, comes down here and spends a lot of time with us this time of the year. This is his favorite, and I can see why. When they were on the cow, there was one of these three that was an absolute hammer that I knew without a doubt in my mind was the very best one. That when they got in, I can't tell you which one's the best. And I didn't pay attention to the ear tag or the number. I just figured, hey, he's that good. We'll recognize him in a couple of months when he gets in. It could be this one. It could be one of the next two. What I do know is this calf's presence and eye appeal is absolutely top tier. His back leg structure is top tier. His balance and proportions is top tier. He classifies, in my opinion, very easily. A calf that of the brothers, he's got more grow, so he probably doesn't have as much punch right now in terms of his quarter. But I'm telling you, I think this calf, individually fed, is going to be hard to beat.
Tell me about 39, another brother, also looked high-necked and high presence.
Yeah, so we chose this picture because I told Clint, let's make him click on the video. And I'm going to start out with this. Chago told me that this calf, he watched it happen, got injured on the feed bunk. And so he does have a half of a size, a golf ball on the inside of his hock. If that bothers you, please do not bid. I said it respectfully. I just don't want to have any issues or heartbreak after the sale. I mean, he's got it, is what it is. But like my notes say it best, like I literally kicked this thing loose in the picture pin and I just couldn't help but smile. Like you see something like this, and regardless if you raise it or not, it's fun to look at. The quality of his head, his ear set, his neck set, he's open. Look at his chest form, forearm, body shape from there back. Of these brothers, I will tell you that I think this is truly one of the more dual purpose ones that I think can go either way. He looks like he's a middle to heavy at Fort Worth. Looks like he's a Brangus contender slicked off. Love the calf. Yes, he has some swell on the inside of his back leg. If that scares you, I respect it. Just don't buy it.
The hits keep coming with lot 40. This looks like a really awesome feeding one. What do we need to know here?
Yeah, and so I think this was the one that I liked the best when they were on the cow, because I remember him having a gigantic back foot and leg like this creature does. Another one that I think is a dual purpose show steer. I think he's a middleweight at Fort Worth. He's never going to be a heavy. And he might. I mean, then we had three of our middleweights kicked into the heavies this year at weighting at 1248. So he could be, but irrelevant. The calf's quality, build, and stoutness is incredible. The proportions are awesome. body shape is the real deal. He did rub his neck and shoulder out so we can see that real good, but irrelevant. I mean, that thing is just built like a Mack truck. Looks like his mama, to be real honest with you. Everything about his head, his ear set, to his character, to his back leg, to his power, his moderation. Very, very good, very high quality show steer.
Lot 41 is a fun colored one. Looks like a great calf. Great footnote, by the way. Tell us about him.
Yeah, this one was raised here at the house, and honestly, I was going to keep him as a bull, and I don't know why I didn't, but we cut him around Fort Worth time, and man, this thing just photogenic and high quality. So that makes me feel like when we fit him up, that's what that judge is going to see as well. I mean, when we clipped them, and if you follow me on Snapchat, and I'm sure you got annoyed and tired of me posting 50 little skinny Americans on there every day for 4, 5, 6 days straight. This one probably caught the most attention because just so photogenic, so good in his balance. His hair is awesome. For sure going to be a heavyweight at Fort Worth. For sure going to be a heavyweight symbol at San Antonio. Never going to be called the most powerful, but he's not light muscle. Calf is just very, very good and just looks to be reeking with quality, in my opinion.
Lot 42 is a water to wine 30, real chunky. Tell us about him.
I will tell you that this is one that came in and he walked straight up to Hudson, started looking on him after about a week of being home. And I just thought, well, there's God telling me that's our calf. But I was struggling. I didn't find the calf I wanted to find when I went on my travels. And so Hudson would come home for school and lay in the feed bunk, and little Wayne would walk up to him and lick him. And man, little Wayne has got the biggest and best back leg that I've ever put on one. He is chunky and powerful and surprisingly really skinny and good about his front 1/3. A calf that if you want to pick on him, he's a nickel low pinned. That's cool. His back leg will always be good and always be functional. I think this is a Fort Worth hammer. I think this is one of our top 2 or 3 that can be in contention. And I know this summer, whenever whoever gets to show him, he is going to be very, very fun and win lots of trinkets for that young individual.
43, King of Kings Minde.
Yeah, so this is one of the 2 brothers that, to be honest with you, a lot of people came in early and looked at him on the cow and thought this was the better of the 2. To put things in perspective for you, I've got him chilled out, but on the cow, we had him on the creek feeder. He would get so massive and so big bellied, he could not fit through the hole to get in or out once he got in to the creek feeder. Man, his feet and legs are absolutely incredible. Top line it is awesome in terms of its balance and presence. Back shape is huge. Calf that has the right kind of character to never worry about getting kicked out. I just think this is going to be one awesome fat steer at Houston, Texas. Top it off, he could be a symbol in the summer at the Fat Steer Show there in Houston. He needs to be an ABC. The gray gets him kicked out, but even though he's got some paint in his sheath and a star in his head, but I just think that this one is going to be so much fun and very, very good.
44, another brother. Tell us about him.
44 has been my dog since the day that he was born. And I always told myself that when it's Hudson's and Blair's turn showing, that no matter what, we're going to keep what I feel like is the best one, in my opinion. It's their time. I felt plenty of kids. Now it's our time. And this was him. This was the calf. And I'm very proud to offer him, a little bit jealous that I'm offering him. But when you buy 2 loads of cows in this market and you got to pay your bills, you got to sell some cattle. And just to be honest with you, I don't need to compete against our customers. And there's a lot of kids that are juniors and seniors next year that need to have an opportunity like this particular calf. I love this calf. Structure's a 10. Presence is awesome. Never gets kicked out. Big league shearing shape. My kind.
Lot 45 is another Ain't Bluffin' 30, but this one comes in the package of a heifer. Looks very high quality. Tell us about her.
Yeah, so this will be the second of heifer we offer out of this mating, and this is why I like those steers so much. The steers are good, and the heifer mates are good. This heifer, I mean, she is going to be a donor. I mean, plain and simple. That structure is exactly what I want her to pass on to her calves. Her body shape and power is ideal. Her presence is awesome for it. Man, I just think this one is going to be a well of a cow, and I can't wait to start getting it on with the next partner.
46 looks like an absolute hammer of a heifer. I can't believe you're letting this one go. Tell us about her.
Yeah, same. I think we've kept like 5 or 6 in God We Trust Mindes over the past few years, and we've got half of 2 or 3. Man, this one weaned off. I told John this is the very best one of this maiden that we've ever offered, and my notes say it best. I think we're goons for offering her. I get hit up all the time. Hey, when are you going to have some Mindy daughters that you're going to sell? You going to sell any more? You got We Trust Mindy heifers. Hey, you got any sisters at Genesis? And so here's your chance. The way I look at it is, hey, cool stuff ain't cheap, and cheap stuff ain't cool. So get it on.
We round out the sale with 4 bull prospects. The first one's this burly black and white one at New World Order 30. There was a couple steers earlier we really liked out of this mating. Tell us about this bull and what your plans are.
Yeah, so we're selling possession. We're keeping half semen. I think this thing needs to go on a group of clean American-based cows and let him do the rest. I'm sure he's triple dirty. I will tell you that he can give you a look sometimes like he's a little bit straighter in his hock. And I'll be honest with you, that's part of the reason why I left him a bull. But on the right cow, I don't see it being an issue. His feet are big and comfortable. His body is round and awesome. His muscle is unreal. His look and presence is obviously pretty incredible. You look at the video and you can see his structure. And he's comfortable. He never misses a beat. Like I said, at times he's just got that. I'll just call a spade, kind of that club calf back leg. It moves, it functions, it's got some reach to it, but it kind of plants there a little bit straight. So I think on a group of American cows, this one is going to really, really help a guy out.
Lot 48 and 49 are both CM to 2220s, sibs to that lot 18 calf that looked real good earlier. Tell us about the first one, lot 48, the red bull calf.
Yeah, so this one's probably not going to sell for what he's worth. Just is what it is. And I say that because he just didn't want to show himself off, and he's very, very gentle. And so live by the sword, die by the sword. We got to have him gentle, but at the same time, it's really hard to get them pictured and videoed when they're this gentle. But that being said, I get hit up all the time if any of our bulls can have enough character to go back on exotic crossbred club calf cows. And yeah, if I wanted to sell semen and lie to somebody, yeah, sure, it'll work out. And they have a calf that obviously won't classify. I feel very comfortable, very confident that this animal will be awesome for somebody that has a herd of exotic crossbred cows. And I'm going to be honest with you, I do plan on using them on Dad's Charlotte cross cows, the few that we do have in Giddings. This thing's boxiness and just power is unreal. Love his extra character. Should never throw anything that doesn't classify. Very sound and very functional in his feet and his legs. That is a very good animal. That's probably not going to be valued at what he is. So if you're paying attention and you're just listening to what I'm telling you or what I'm saying, probably need to dig in here.
What about his brother, lot 49?
Yeah, his brother reminds me of 18, just in terms of his slick sheer just pieces. I mean, awesome neck set, big, hard, fresh, or big, hard, square, expressive back, very, very powerful from behind. A calf that I just think is yellow. He's out of an awesome cow. He's out of an awesome bull. We've already got some other brothers selling in the sale. Felt like he needed to be a bull. We're going to sell possession and keep half semen.
And you round out the sale. Lot 50 looks like an absolute heater. Tell us about this CM, son.
Yeah, so Herschel Nix raised this bull prospect, and he has caught quite a bit of attention over the past 30 days, and for good reasons, right? My notes say it best. We're selling possession, keeping half semen. We will promote and sell semen however the next partner wants to, whatever they feel like is the most profitable or not. If the next partner doesn't want to sell any semen, then we'll just hoard it and keep it to ourselves. If there is a family out there that wants to show this steer or show this bull as a steer, two things. He is broke, he does lead, he is not show broke, and he has a little bit of a temper at times, but we're getting past that. And then more importantly, whatever price that you get him bought at, it will double to cut him. And I'm doing that because we feel strongly that this thing needs to be a bull, but we're not going to tell somebody that wants to give us money that they can't cut him. Not really much you need to say about the animal besides the fact that he is awesome. He is hard to make. He's hard to build. And this is the kind that I am proud to have in this cell in Abbott, Texas.
Well, what a way to end the discussion on the cattle. Is there anything you'd like to add? Is there anything you'd like to add regarding your sale? March 28th, 2026, Abbott, Texas, hosted by SC Online Sales, Cromwell Cattle Company. Anything else we need to know?
No, I just please emphasize that if you guys are interested in anything, please come look at them in person. If not, call myself, call John, call Dalton Nix, call Herschel on his bull. I will, heck, you need to call Michaela. She knows what she's looking at. She's a national champion livestock judger, and she has a different perspective than I do, probably pretty open-minded. But call us. I mean, we're going to tell you the truth. We want what's best for your family and your children. And more importantly, if that doesn't work out, then you don't come back. We do this as a family. We do this to help families, and we want to make sure that we do our part if you do your part. So please reach out if you have any questions about any of the animals. We try to be open about them all, their problems, where they need to be fixed, or if they have any issues right now. Nothing's guaranteed besides the fact that we're going to help you if you help yourself.
How many pounds of crawfish you ordering?
We have 8 sacks, 6 for the public, and then when everybody leaves, we're going to boil 2 more for us because I never get to get any. So
what is there, 30 pounds to a sack?
Yeah. So about 250 pounds of crawfish we'll have Saturday, and then lots of shrimp, obviously the fixings that go with it. So if you want to look at awesome American show cattle and have some incredible crawfish Saturday on the 28th, I'd say Abbott, Texas is the place to be.
You get both them boilers fired up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
The only thing hotter than the cattle are the crawfish.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for walking us through the cattle. Good luck on the 28th.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.